It was something that I really had to think about in 2017. And that was okay, because that's when I realized I need to really sit down and give time to my heart and to my dreams and reevaluate my dreams. Hey guys, it's Jess. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a get ready with me and chatting while you're watching me get this look that I have on my face. So I hope that you enjoy, and it is going to be a little bit deep, and so, you know, if you're in the mood for something deep and maybe you want some kind of tea or something to you know, have while you're watching this, it's a little bit long and a little deep, so hopefully you enjoy. Just to let you know, my mirror is right here and you're right here, and so I may not always be making eye contact with you. Also, I'm probably not going to be talking a lot about the products that I'm using while I'm talking with you. I probably will just have them on the screen, and so, you know, as I'm using it, so that way we don't really have interrupted talk time. I'm kind of scatterbrained, and so if I have to like stop and like show you my products and talk about it and then pick up where I left off, sometimes that's hard to do for me. So I'm just gonna, you know, see if this works, and hopefully everything will kind of work together. So I hope you enjoy. I also just right up front want to apologize. It's a very windy day today, and so if you hear a lot of wind gusting and creaks and cracks and whatever, it's my windows cracking and creaking, and the wind outside is just having fun. So, and the lighting is gonna be a little bit fickle too, so sorry about that. Okay, so I already have my skincare done. I do that really quickly, like in the morning or right away in the morning, so that way my sunscreen, which is the last step of my skincare routine, that's on my face, so that way when I'm even in my house in front of windows and stuff, I'm protected from the sun rays. So that is on, and I have these here. Now, I'm testing out a lot of tinted moisturizers, and this is just a sample of the Perricone MD No Foundation foundation. It has natural SPF of 30 in it, and then this is a Bellanera, the first EE cream. What I like to do, this is a really fair shade, very, very light. This is too light for me on its own. So, but this is, a lot of the tinted moisturizers actually are, I find, are too dark for me on their own right now, and when I don't have like my summer glow. And so I like to mix them a little bit. That way they just kind of neutralize each other out, and I find that it's a good shade for me. So what's been on my mind lately, actually, it's kind of interesting, because I just watched a video a couple days ago about, it was a video by Arna Lane, and she is a YouTuber, and she recently did a video, a very raw and real video on grief, the grieving process, and you know, just how people don't really take the time to actually grieve, and they kind of stuff all their emotions down, and how really healthy it is to grieve. It is actually a really sad reason why she was making the video. Her dog of 16 years passed away, and so she was just kind of coming to us and talking to us about how she's going through it and what she's learned through the years of not really, not necessarily processing grief the right way, but now she realizes that it's good to process it, and to so that way you don't have baggage in the future. Okay, so what is that? How does that pertain to what I've been thinking is, I just turned 29 in February. I'll be 30 next year. And kind of really been into making the most of time right now. And like, not like, I remember last year, 2017, at the end of 2017, I said, there's these things in my life that I'm really struggling with that was making me really have anxiety and fear, and very real fears that I wanted to get out of my life. And I have had them for years and years and years. And so I finally, through prayer and talking and, you know, with people, and also, I mean, mostly just prayer and getting truth into me through the Bible and just other resources like books that are out there, realizing that if you don't take the time to stop and think about your situation, you'll just keep on living with the same stuff your whole life. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at. So I'm so thankful that I actually did take the time, and I no longer really struggle with the fears that I had been struggling with for 8 years. But it was because I just was kind of doing the bare minimum of getting by and kind of giving in to my fears and feeding my fear. And so I just decided to stop that. Now, this isn't necessarily about fear. We can talk about that in another video, because what's really been on my mind lately is, and tying back to what Arna was talking about, grief, is grieving your dreams and expectations that haven't really come true, or that won't ever come true, or that you're realizing isn't something that is going to happen in your life. And so to give you a little backstory about my life, I have always been a big dreamer and a big preventative thinker and a big picture thinker. And so I've always just, I remember, growing up in my teen years and even as a young child, thinking how I always just wanted to be a mom. And I always thought I would just be this perfect, this mom with, perfect house and just a marriage that was amazing, because I used to listen to a lot of podcasts and messages from people who, about how to have a healthy marriage and how to be a great mom and how to do these things. And I saw these women at my church who had like 10 kids, who were really well behaved, and they always just really inspired me. And I always thought, that's what I want to do. I want to do that. I want to be, the best homemaker in the world. And I didn't really know. I did go to college, and I did end up getting, my degree in a couple things, and I'm a massage therapist and stuff. But ultimately, I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And, I'm sitting here, and I'm actually saying, yes, I am a stay-at-home mom. So, but I may not be the stay-at-home mom that my 17-year-old self thought I was going to be. And so, and I may not, and also, because I did really think I wanted 10 kids, I'm probably not going to have 10 kids. We're probably great with 2. I don't know. That's for another video. But what I am realizing is that I was carrying the guilt or the expectation on myself that I needed to have 10 kids in order to be happy, or that I needed to have like a really clean house to be happy. But that was because those are my dreams that I have been putting on myself and expectations from years ago. But now at 29, are those really my real dreams and expectations? Laura Mercier. This is the Secret Brightening Powder. So, I don't know if you're like me, and if you were a forward, into the future thinker, or if you're more just kind of fly by the seat of your pants and just kind of take the days as they come. But what I was realizing was that was very unhealthy for me, and it's actually causing me a lot of anxiety and guilt and comparing myself to not even a different person, but comparing myself to my ideal of who I wanted to be in my own head. But, and I keep going back to this, it wasn't necessarily who I wanted to be as a 29-year-old. It was who, when I was 16, 17, who I wanted to be when I was 29. Didn't take the time to stop and think, where are these expectations coming from? I just kept living in them. And then I realized, is that really what I want with my life? Is that really me? Is that Jess of right now? Or is that Jess in the past? And so, am I still, do I have new dreams? Am I living in reality of what's really best for my family now? Or did I have kind of these dreams that weren't realistic for me, and I just didn't realize it until I got into the situation? And so what I find is, like, I have a best friend. My best friend, all her life, all she wanted and daydreamed of was getting married and being a wife. But she didn't, and she struggled with living in the present. She said she finally, after years and years of not having a boyfriend, of not even being kissed, you know, in her late 20s and into her 30s, she didn't have her dreams come true, and the dreams that she had as a child come true because there was no man sweeping her off her feet. You know, she kind of realized, though, that her whole life in her 20s was kind of on pause, waiting for those dreams to come true. And she finally decided that she was going to start getting new dreams of where she was in the present, and, you know, kind of thinking, what if this doesn't happen? Am I going to be okay with that? And kind of grieving that. I believe she really grieved that, the thought of not getting married. But through that grieving process of really crying about it, really saying, is this okay in my soul, like in my heart, that I don't get this? What will I do? What will my life look like? Then, after that, you can come out of that and start thinking, okay, this may not happen, so I need to start dreaming again with where I'm at right now, in my situation right now. And I am so, so thankful. So thankful that I didn't struggle with infertility. And, you know, I was able to have my children kind of at the time that my husband and I were planning. You know, 2 years after we were married, we found out we were pregnant with my daughter. We did start trying 8 months before that, and I did for about 8 months, you know, not get pregnant. And so that kind of made me a little bit nervous, but I wouldn't call that an infertility battle like other women that I've seen. And so I didn't necessarily have to grieve that part of my dreams, but I did have to kind of sit down with myself recently. When everybody's asking, do you want more kids? You always said you wanted 10 kids. When are you going to have more kids? Your son is 2 now, you know, when are you going to have more kids? And I had to really think, not because, I know they meant it in the best way, but it was something that I really had to think about in 2017. And that was okay, because that's when I realized I need to really sit down and give time to my heart and to my dreams, and reevaluate my dreams, reevaluate who I think my identity, what I think my identity lies in. Like, is my identity only great and only fulfilled when my expectations are met of myself? Or is my identity in something greater? That no matter what I do or who I am, what I can accomplish, if my dreams come true, I know deep down inside that my identity is unshakable when I put my identity in my Heavenly Father. You know, what does that look like, having my identity, my expectations? Honestly, it sounds a little vague and a little well, to somebody who's never actually had it or experienced it, probably just kind of hocus pocus and yeah, right, you can't really get your identity in somebody or something that you've never seen. But that's for, again, another video. Just trust me, it's real. You really can feel secure in knowing that you are loved and you are complete by the one who made you, the one who made the universe. It's so freeing. I'm gonna use the Milani Bold Obsessions palette. I just really enjoy this palette a lot. There's a lot of warm tones. I'm gonna try to just make my normal like neutral tone eye look out of this. So by the way, my friend, my best friend, I was her maid of honor last year in her wedding. She did get married a lot later than what she thought. But, and if you talk to anybody who's had to wait for something that they love, they usually will tell you that if you wouldn't have waited, then you wouldn't have what you have now. You know, the wait was so hard, and they wouldn't wish it upon anybody, and the struggle and the tears. From what I've heard from them is that they know that it was best. So when I look at my life now, I want new dreams. And my friend, she decided to have new dreams. But within living her life to the fullest, without her husband, without a guy in sight, she was able to just have a wonderful life, and eventually she did have her dreams come true in a way, just not in the timeline that she wanted and not in the form necessarily that she wanted. But sometimes we don't really know what we want. I actually wrote a song when I was 12, one of my first songs that I wrote, and the chorus, the main premise of it was that kind of surrendering my life, because I without going into a lot of detail of my life, I came from a divorced family, and I didn't have the best relationship with my dad at a young age, and there was just a lot of stuff and that I was really struggling with. But thankfully I didn't run to rebellion or like, you know, just stuff that harmed me. I ran to my bed sobbing, where I really felt and heard from God, not in like the booming audible voice or whatever, but in my heart of hearts, I found comfort from Him. And so I started writing and journaling, and I wrote a song that its main thing was about surrendering. And the chorus went, "Search my heart, because I don't even know my own desires. Search me, only you know the future." Searching me meaning like know me and help me. And at 12 years old, you know, I was like feeling that my life wasn't going the way I wanted to go, so please help me. And so I guess that just brings me tons of comfort, knowing that even if the outward, my life, my track of life, even the expectations I've had in my life or what's really happening in front of me isn't going the way that I thought, that I dreamed of or that I thought was ideal, that's okay, because God's taking care of me. At least for me. And Proverbs even says the heart is fleeting and deceitful and above all else. That doesn't mean like, oh my goodness, so dramatic, like don't have feelings or whatever. It just means that your preferences and your things that you want to do in your life, they change and your heart changes. And so like follow your heart. And I just never have been too keen on that phrase, because I know I have different opinions, and my thoughts about what should be right and what my life should look like aren't always the best for me, because it's obvious from what I've seen even only in 29 years. The struggles and the things and what I thought I should have and be doing, I don't know, like it just makes sense when I look back and say, okay, I see kind of why I had why not I had to go through that. I'm not saying that God intentionally puts me, makes something really horrible in your life happen, but he will bring good out of it, and he will strengthen you through it. He has strengthened me through it, and developed the character in me that I wouldn't have without those situations. And only when I've processed them properly and not stuffed them, like I said, I struggle with a fear, a certain kind of fear, for like 7 years, and so that was obviously not very healthy. But cool thing now is that I can help others who have gone through that, who have struggled with something for so long. Maybe I could, there's power in sympathy. There's power in saying, I know where you've been. Let me help you, or let me just be a crying shoulder. Let me cry with you, because I remember the pain of that. And I know I'm kind of going off on a different tangent. But I think it all kind of connects in a way. So going back to dreaming and me and where I am now, what I'm realizing is I'm 29 years old, and I may not be able to have 10 kids, because honestly, if my husband and I had 10 kids, we probably wouldn't be sane. And I have compared myself with like a family or friends who do have more kids, and think, am I not as good as them? But I can't do that. It's got to be what's right for my family, and what's right for me, and what I realize in my own personality and my own stress levels, and just kind of, just got to be real with myself and say, this is where I'm at right now. And right now it just doesn't look like, I'm going to necessarily have those 10 kids, but that doesn't mean that I'm a failure. That doesn't mean that I failed myself or I failed my dreams. That just means that when I was 16 or 17 and, telling people I was going to have 10 kids, that I was just a little naive, and that's okay, because our plans and our dreams change, and I don't think they die necessarily. Although if you know for sure you cannot have something, like a friend of mine was saying recently, she had to get a hysterectomy, and now she can't have any more kids, and so now that choice is taken from her. She wasn't sure if she really did want more kids, but now the choice is taken from her, and she really has to just decide, like, she's realized that she has to take time to grieve that, to grieve the no longer having the choice in her control. So I just kind of had to like sit down and say, look, Jess, of my expectations of myself, having 10 kids, that seemed like a really cool idea. But it's okay. It's okay that I can't do that. It's okay that I'm not letting myself down. I'm not less of a person in myself. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And so the fun part, though, is once you get through that, I always have a hard time evening out eyes. Like, one is usually more, like, has more than the other, and then I'm like sitting here trying to think, okay, one is, and then I know, like, one hooded eyelid is like droopier than the other one, and so I just don't know how to even it out very well. But anyways, so now the fun part is dreaming again, and just been really thinking about, okay, what are our new dreams? Like, what, now that I've realized that I'm not going to necessarily fulfill those dreams of mine, I need to have new dreams. I need to have new passions, or and live in the moment, right? Like, not be weighed down by disappointment, but get excited for the future and get excited for what could be, and dream again, and not be afraid to dream. Not be afraid, even though my dreams in my past didn't really come true. That shouldn't mean that I shouldn't start dreaming about something else, right? Like, it's okay. It's okay to dream, even if you feel like your dreams didn't come true, because That's hope. That's living in hope and joy, and living life to the fullest, not letting things hold you back. And when you start living your life out of hope, it really changes your demeanor. It really makes you feel like this is right. This is what life is supposed to be, living within hope. Not hope of being perfect or of those new expectations. I don't know if I can do this on camera. Oh, but just hope, knowing that you're still alive. You still have potential to change the world around you. You still have an impact on this earth for some reason or another, and start living out of that. Start living out of that hope. Stop living out of the coulda, woulda, shouldas. Journal. Talk with friends. Talk to God. If you've never done it before, it's okay. He really is there listening. And just find somebody to talk to or journal, or I know some people type it out on their computer. Just type out or just get it out. And it really helps to see or to hear yourself talk, or to see the words and what really is going on inside of you. I'm not saying that it has to be this long, drawn-out process. It could just be a couple hours one time that you really, really hash it out with yourself about where you're at right now. But I think it's just really healthy to take time to just stop and evaluate your life, wherever you're at, maybe every year, or once every 5 years, or just take time. It's really worth it from what I've noticed. And some things you really do have to be intentional about, because you can just not realize that you're living under your coulda, woulda, shouldas. I know that it really has helped me not fall into depression. It's hard. I still get down on myself. I still have high expectations for myself. Don't be so hard on yourself if you feel like the day-to-day was a setback, because as long as you have that big picture dream, I think it helps us in our day-to-day failures, little failures. So I'm definitely dreaming again, and I'm no longer saddened or confused by when people ask me if I'm having more kids, or when I get reminded of my old dreams. Having 10 kids, that is a great thing, and I definitely respect and love seeing big families. But I absolutely love my 2 children and my husband, and I believe that we can be effective and powerful in our own little unit than having 10 kids and having a big unit. And so I'm looking forward to this new season of dreaming again. And yeah, it definitely has given me hope and life and excitement. Yeah. So I hope that I was able to kind of put my thoughts and my heart into words for you guys, and that I didn't go too deep for you, but I'm kind of a deep person. I was talking with my aunt, and she's like, Jess, I have a hard time making friends because I hate small talk. I just instantly want to go deep. And I kind of understand that, small talk is okay, but I really am like, let's just be real. There's no reason to put on a mask. There's enough people with masks on, but honestly, when I see somebody with a mask on, I feel bad for them, because I know that there's hurt or there's some reason that there's a mask. So anyway, that's just me taking my mask off, and I hope that, you know, if you're living under the expectations of your old self, of your 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago self. I'm not a counselor, but just speaking from experience, I thought that I was understanding that to not compare myself to others, but comparing myself to myself was actually really hurting me. Comparing myself to my old dreams. Yeah. And now I'm done with that. So, I mean, yeah, took the time to kind of grieve that, think about it, process it, and now it's time to dream more, dream again. So, yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and that let me know down below. I would love to talk with you about what your dreams are now, like what are your dreams for the future, and let me know if this made sense to you. And I don't look so crazy. I wasn't sure exactly what I would look like after this, but it's okay. I think I put a little too much bye-bye under eye under my eyes, but you know, I'm a little bright under there, but that's all right. So yeah, I think I've said enough. I hope that you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.